So Jon, you're a veteran of PlayStation and you've been around for quite a few launches. How does last night compare to previous launches?
Well, I like the word veteran because it shows I'm the old man of PlayStation, I think. How many E3s? How many E3s has it been now? But I was part of the PS2 launch and PS3 and PSP and Vita. And I think last night has to be at the top. And really, wow. PlayStation 4 is at the top. There was such this emotional just tidal wave of people that love the price, love the used games, and love the game announcements. And people want to see PlayStation get back to #1. We certainly do, and really believe we will. But there's such a fervor in the community for that.
You know, and I'm so glad you brought up the used games because last night when we were watching it, it almost felt like we were teetering on like a standing ovation when they announced that the PS4 was going to support used games. How did you come to that decision, and what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so a lot of people are wondering how that came to be. It really hasn't changed. I think where we've stood with PS3 is where we stand for PS4. We believe in the gamer. We believe in their ability to own the game that they've just purchased. Used games help the broader ecosystem of gaming, and we think it helps us. We think it helps the gamer. We want more gamers to come into our community, and honestly, if they can take a game they bought and bring it back to a retailer and then get another game, maybe it's a new game, it helps us all.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes there's certain games that I'll hold on to for a real long time and I'll play them over and over again. But other games, it's like once you played it through once, you're like, okay, moving on.
Yeah.
And it's great that you can, you know, trade that in and get something else that you love.
Yeah, and a lot of people are wondering, well, did it have anything to do with other stances in the gaming industry? It did. This is our stance. Like, we stand for gaming. And we knew the gamer would really want this, and it's really not a change from where we stand. So it's just taking where we are with PS3 and bringing it to PS4.
All right, I got to get to the big boys. Hard drive. I want to know, how big is it, and is it removable?
So we have been getting a lot of questions about that, I guess, in the time since the press conference. So it's 500 gigs. It is removable. It's a removable hard drive. So again, not dissimilar from where we are today. So we wanted to kind of take that and bring it over. We think the hard drive will be important. Certainly be important for the digital assets that are going to become more and more important as we go through. But also I want to note that the streaming aspect of the PlayStation 4, similar to PS3, will be very important, not necessarily require the hard drive as much. So I think the digital downloads will be important for the hard drive, but let's remember the video streaming part, and streaming in general, will be a really critical part of where we go with PS4.
Let's talk about a couple of the other features. I'm really interested in the share feature. You know, so many YouTube channels utilize live action gameplay in sharing their knowledge about games and cheat codes that I know I use on game walkthroughs. So talk to me about the share feature.
So sharing was born of seeing how many people were doing this on the Twitches and the Ustreams and the YouTubes, and it was kind of a surprise, I'll be honest. When I started looking at this a few years ago, I said, there is no way that we have, but we saw one person that was playing a shooter game that's well known, that had 1 million people watching him play right then. I said, this is incredible. And so we said, you know what, let's start thinking about how we integrate this. Sharing was born to really allow someone like you to take what you've done really well, the last 15 minutes of your gameplay, and put it up for the community to see. And I think it's fantastic, not only for cheat codes and things like that, but also for like the trash talking that certainly is part of sports games and action and shooter. And I think this is going to be such a big thing. We've made it easy. So if you've seen the DualShock 4, there's a button on there now, it just says share, and it allows you to upload what you've done. And you can edit it and whatnot. It's going to be, I think, an important thing. We talk about the social part of the PlayStation 4 a lot, and sharing is such a critical part of that.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought up the new DualShock, because I noticed it has that motion sensor on the front. How does that work with the PS4?
So you're talking about the light bar?
Yeah, the light bar in the front.
So the light bar ties in with the camera. So it reads against the camera for a real precise location-based type experience. We didn't go a lot into the camera last night. In fact, we didn't really at all. We've talked about it in the past. So to answer your light bar question, it allows for location. Okay. The camera, because I know that's also a question.
Yes, how is the PSI going to work with it? Will there be a bundle?
Yeah, so we've changed the name. It's PlayStation Camera now, just officially. And the PlayStation Camera works with some games. It'll also work with various system features, which we'll be talking about as we go on. It'll be important, not required for any type of real experience, but it's certainly additional and recommended for some game experiences and others. So we'll talk about that as we go on. But the DualShock and camera relationship is a big part of how the camera operates.
Very cool. Talk to me a little bit about Gaikai and how that cloud feature works. I know we heard a little bit about the press conference last night, but just kind of reiterate how that feature works.
Gaikai was a purchase of SCEI or PlayStation maybe a year and a half ago, and it was done with a view to the future. So we saw that what Gaikai was building was an infrastructure to allow that kind of playing of games from the cloud, and that's a really, really important thing for us. As we go on, we really do believe that that's an aspect that's going to really enhance the disk space and the digital download portion just as we were talking about video streaming a few minutes
Yeah.
ago, game streaming is critical too. Andy House talked last night about how our aspirations are PlayStation 3 games that can be played on PlayStation 4, on Vita, on PlayStation 3, and that's certainly true. So we haven't gotten into real timing, specific timing other than 2014, but it's a really important part of the PlayStation future.
Great. I know a lot of people are asking me, will their PlayStation Network accounts, trophies, will all of that be transferable onto PS4?
It will, yeah. So PlayStation Network's being made to seamlessly transition. I think even today, you talk about PlayStation Plus and what's available on PlayStation Plus today, it'll transfer over to your experience on PlayStation 4 in so much as your membership. So really, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. Again, going back to the original discussion, we're for gamers, let's make it easy.
Yeah.
Let's not make this difficult and go look in the manual and try and figure things out, just seamless.
Great. One last question for you. Release date, when can I get one?
I think the best answer to that is holiday.
Okay, good. So ask Santa for one.
Yeah, so ask Santa for one, and I think everybody will be happy.
Awesome. Well, Jon, thank you so much. I really appreciate you stopping by.
You.